All right, so plan for this video is to recreate this American Sign Language Translator app, which looks like this, where you type in a word, you can go to still, and it will do that. It will put all the letters of your word spread out and their corresponding American Sign Language hand gesture. And the other option is to go to moving, and it will go through each one in a timed loop for 1 second and then jump to the still screen. And so that's what we're going to try to recreate here. And I'm going to do it in the lesson, the hackathon, whatever it is, the unit project, instead of an app lab. So I'll have the same blocks that you have. All right, so first let's bring in the list that we need. And if we go ASL, American Sign Language, which is this one, if we import that, take a look at it, it only has 2 columns. One is the letter, and the other is the image. Okay, so there's only 2 columns to work with here. Let's call it ASL letters and ASL pics. And let's bring in those columns. Oops. And the table is American Sign Language, and this one is going to be letters. This one, American Sign Language, and this one is going to be image. And actually, first thing I should do is design mode. Okay, let's choose a theme. Doesn't really matter at this point. How about a label? Looks like this, and we'll go like that. And let's call it the ASL Translator. And font size, text alignment center, font size much larger. That works. And let's have a couple of images like this. And what is the, let's go like this. Could we'll set this one to that. Nope, need to get rid of the quotes. There we go. And S is this one, so that it says literally ASL in sign language, or in ASL. And there we go, AS and L. This and lovely. All right, so we're definitely going to need a text input. None of these need fantastic element IDs. We're not interacting with them at all. But let's call this user input. User input, and how about enter a word? Okay, and we're gonna need some buttons. Okay, let's go like button. Let's call this moving button. Moving, and I got to be able to think of better button text than moving or still, but maybe animated. Still button. Did I spell stationary? I think so. Animated. Okay. And this is going to be one of the rare times that I have a different button for clearing. Normally you have any, or the way I would design things is anytime you click on something or change, it clears out the text input. But you can see from the way this is used that if you type something in and you go to still, you might want to go back and not have to type it in again, and then go to moving, and then have clear be, oh, is clear not, oh yeah, and clear be its own button. So it does actually make sense in this case to have a separate button for it. And so let's just go ahead and, well, we know the clear button, what that's going to do. That's a 1 out of 10 on the difficulty scale. Actually, I'm just going to go into design mode, click on the button, click on events, and bring in an event handler for that. Does it automatically. Actually, didn't save very much time, but that's fine. And let's go. Okay, when we click on the clear button, we want to set the text of user input to an empty string. Okay, and run. We type something in, hit clear. Beautiful. All right, so that works. And we don't have to think about that anymore. We obviously are going to need some different screens. So let's add a new screen. How about moving screen? And on here, we're definitely going to need a reset button. Back. Back button 1. And then we need another screen. Still screen. And we're going to need a back button there. Let's call it back button 2. And back button 2. Okay, so let's go screen 1. In fact, let's rename this home screen. And so we need some event handlers to control this. On event, moving button, click, set screen to moving screen. And actually, this is going to be a major event handler. So this is one of the 2 major ones. And the other one is on still button, click, set screen to still screen. And then our 2 back buttons. Let's actually put some good text on there. Let's call this back. And on the other one, still screen. Let's have this one say back. And so we need event handlers for those. On event, back button 1, click, set screen to home screen. And do the same thing again with back button 2. Okay, so this really should be your first step in any app, is building the framework and being able to go back and forth between your screens so that you have a place to put things and can start programming it. All right, so let's see here. What is the design that we're looking for? And the 2 main functions that I've shown you before on for moving, it's just an image and a text area that get filled with, it's one image that every loop is getting filled with the next letter in the user word. And the tricky part is on the still screen, there are 10 different images that are scaled to be the height of the screen divided by the length of the word, so that they're always lined up. Okay. Let's do the still one first. I can't remember which one I did before first, but we'll do the still one first, because the moving one, when it's done, it goes to, actually, let's do the moving one first. It doesn't really matter. And we'll go over here. Okay, so on event, moving button is clicked. Let's just put it all in its own function, even though it doesn't really need to be. Motion, what can we call this? How about set moving pics? And while we're working on this, I'm going to, actually, no, I'm not going to do that. Never mind. Okay, so what do we want to do? We want to get, let's just go ahead and make a user word and have that be an empty string for now. And that way it'll be global. So we click on, when we do set moving pics, which is just this one, let's gather that user text. And we want that to be get the text of user input and user input, and this is called user word. And here we're going to do, and we've done this a few times, some sort of conditional to protect the user from breaking it. We need to make sure that the string is not an empty string, and we need to protect ourselves from like a super long word. So everything inside of this is going to be it's just going to be in this loop, and we're going to ignore it. This is just to check. Okay, if user word dot length is greater than 0, meaning there's something in there, and user word dot length is less than 11, then we will allow it to do a thing. In fact, let's block the button, because right now we're letting it set the screen even if we're not going on there. So let's just put this up here where we don't even let the app run unless it meets our qualifications. So the moving button is first going to check to see if it's the right size. And actually, let's put this. No, we need to gather user word before we check. This is getting all over the place. We need to gather user word before we check. And if it meets the qualifications, we can call the function. The function is going to start by changing to the screen, and then we can start updating things. So right now, it shouldn't let me change there. It should let me change there. Good. All right. So let's go to the moving screen. And all we need here is one image and one label, text area. Text area is fine. And let's call this moving text area. And this one, moving image. And so what are we going to do? Well, we need a loop, and we need to make sure, well, do we have time loops here? We do not have time loops here. So the way time loops work is, well, you can just go to, I wonder if you can drag a block across windows. That would be crazy. I don't think you can. I definitely can copy and paste, but let's make a new app lab. What's up?
Is surveying 5,000?
Let's see. Okay, so time loop. Nope, it doesn't let me drag it. Okay, so time loop looks like this, and it's an entire just a function thing that happens every however many milliseconds. And so 1,000 means over the course of 1 second. And what we are going to do is every second we're going to check if we need to count how many times we've looped. So we need a counting variable. Let's just call it, another one I called it j equals 0. Okay. And so throughout our loop, every time we get to the beginning of the loop, this is like a for loop that does it every second. And it needs to end with a stop or stop time loop, which is going to be in our conditional, and you'll see here in a second. Hopefully it'll make more sense. Okay, so this is going to end our loop, but we need, every time through the loop, we're going to check to make sure we haven't done it more than there are letters in the word. So the first thing we're going to do is check to see if j is less than user word dot length. We can do our setting of images and letters. But if we get past the length, this is where we want to set or stop the time loop. And so there's that. Okay, so in this top half, this is where we're actually setting the loop. We need to go through the entire user word. So we need actually a for loop, and we are going to do something to the a user word dot length number of times. And there's probably an easier way to do this with like I actually don't even think I need. I think I can do this without even doing that. Yeah, I think I can do this with just, okay. So I want, no, I can't do it because then, never mind. I need a way to protect the stopped time loop situation. Okay, so every time through our loop, we are going to add one to our counting variable. So this is where we need a j plus plus, or j gets j plus 1. Okay, and we want to set the text of, moving text area to whatever letter we're looking at. We're using I to go through the entire user word index I, and we want to set the image, set screen, set property, set 10. Some reason we don't have set image, but that's fine. Of moving image, set its image to whatever is in. Oh, nope. All right. This is wrong. We need to go through the entire user word and compare it to the list of letters. This is the whole point, is this whole columns. Let's save this for a second. Okay, so we are now going through the entire list of the user word, and we want to compare it to no, J is the user word. I is going to be the entire ASL letters. Okay, so we're keeping track of I is the letter in the array, and J is the user word. So if user word index I double equals, we got to compare it to capital letters. Shoot. Okay, so the user is going to type it in lowercase, and all of our letters are in capitals. So we got to say if user word index I dot to uppercase, that's open close parentheses, uppercase, double equals ASL letter. Is it letters or letters? This should be letters. And we'll do it AS letters dot length number of times AS letters index. The letters are I. The user word is J. And so if they match, we want to set the image to whatever is in ASL picks at that same index that it matches of the letters. And set the text to this. Is this going to work? J gets J plus 1. This might work. No. To uppercase. Let's see here, user word. Okay, well, let's troubleshoot. We need to, let's console log user word when we get to this part. Make sure it's getting there. Do I have caps locks on somewhere? I shouldn't. User word. And let's see what happens. Okay, so it is cannot read property to uppercase. How about I do 2 uppercase here, and then I don't have to search it. We'll just go user word gets, why can't I drag 2 uppercase in there? Oh yeah. User word 2 uppercase. Nope, still not liking it. Am I misspelling something? 2. Let's just do that here. No, I have a typo somewhere. Okay. Let's refresh, see if it's App Lab's fault. Huh. Okay. 1,000. Oh, user word index J. There we go. I'm slightly more confident here. Hey, there we go. Except it stopped. Okay, if J is less than user word dot length, do this. Else. So property text set image ASL. Oh, nope. User word. It's doing it for one. Why is it not doing it for all of them? Let's do another debug. Console log. User word index J. Am I using J somewhere? Okay, so that's what it is. User words are J. Nope. Yeah, user words are J, and anything from the data set is set text user word J. Does J get J plus 1 over here? There we go. All right. So let's fix the font size on moving screen just to see what's going on, and font size much larger. And centered. And I think we're good on animated. Okay, so let's do the still screen situation. All right, so still screen is a little trickier because we need a bunch of images on there ready to be scaled based on the size of the word. Okay, so if we have a 4 letters there and we go still, the size of the image is that big, but if we make it, or the size of the icons are that big, otherwise they are that big. Okay, so we're gonna see a lot of the same loop stuff, but we're gonna need, because our max word size, I think, is 10. And yeah, we can just share the same conditional. And let's say still pics, and that'll be the name of our other function. So let's bring a new function definition in here. Yeah, bring another white space there. Okay, and the first thing for set still pics is to go to the still screen. And on still button, click user word set skill, set still. That should work. Oh, I need to gather a user word. Comparing something that doesn't exist. Okay, and back, and we're good. All right, so on still screen, I need 10 images. And we're going to do that thing with image 0 through 9. Oh, wait, do I have the, I need to name those other things on the home screen. Let's call this image A, image S, and image L. That way, all of the images on our still screen can be that 0 through 0 through 9. What's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And we can go to, which ones are we missing? 4 through 5. 4. Image 5. 0, 1, 2. We need image 2. This is not the best way to do this. This is a way to do this. And 3. Okay, so we have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so we have 10 images, and now we need some text areas, I think probably what we're looking for. And text area 1, can we, yep, there we go, all the way up through 10. Actually, shoot, I didn't want to do that. Is this going to ruin it? No, it is. Okay. I want these all to be hidden to start so that they don't show up. That's why you would hide something so they don't show up. And we will only make them hidden or visible, I should say, once they are called. So that's the first step, is hiding everything and then only unhiding them once they are needed. So it essentially works like a reset. And so we have image or text areas 0 through, let's make this one 0. 0 through 10 and image 0 through 10. Okay, so what are we going to do? First thing, how do I have this twice? And let's just go ahead and make this uppercase like we did before. Still button. All right, so we're set to still screen. Let's turn off, let's go through each of the images and each of the oh, let's make this another function. Let's just have a clear function. Clear everything. And we will loop through every image and every text area and set them to nothing so that they won't, if you do a shorter word after a longer word, they won't be there. Let's set property of text area plus I, set its text to nothing, and set its visibility or hiddenness hidden to true. Okay, and then for every every one of the images, so this is image, set its hidden to true. I is already defined. I guess let's just use J here. It doesn't really matter because when you loop through, it sort of replaces it. Okay, so we call still set still pix. First thing we need to do is reset everything with our reset everything function. And I misspell it. Clear everything is what it's called. Computer doesn't know if you want that. And okay, so we need to what just happened? Yeah, go for it. Did I break something? Uh-oh. Let's refresh. Okay, so I'm clearing out the text areas and clearing out the clear everything. I need to go through and loop through the entire user word. So we want one big loop. And this is going to be user word.length. And what do we want to do for everyone? We want to set well, first we need to do our comparison to find the whether or not it matches the letter. And geez, do I have that many loops? All right, so this is where it's going to get kind of tricky. We need a double loop. Okay, this is a nested loop, and this is useful for like, well, it's called a two-dimensional loop, but it also can be, or it can be used for two-dimensional arrays, which is good for like a grid. But in this case, we want to do something for every letter in the user word. What do we want to do? Well, we want to compare it against every letter in the ASL letters list. And if they match, we want to do a thing. Yeah, go for it. If user word, and I'm doing this the other way, before I had I as the letters and J as the whatever, but this is fine. Still button. And let's just put this down here just to keep things consistent. No, still button, moving button. Yeah, that's right. hasn't been clear everything. What did I call it? Clear everything. No, everything. Okay, if the user word we're looking at, which is user word index I, double equals the letter from the list, is a letters index J, we want to set the text area of that from the still screen. So we're gonna have a bunch of set properties. Let's do the images first. Set the property of image image plus I, set its image to whatever is in ASL pics at the matching index. Okay. And well, we need to locate it. So here is the tricky part, or I should say one of the tricky parts that I keep bringing up, is that when we go to still, it has to scale. So we need some way to figure out the dimension of the letters, or what the dimension is going to be. And so that's going to be a variable, and it can be a local one. Let's just call it H for height, and caps H for height. And that's going to be, we need to come up with some size that works out to its height. Let's do if it's 10, let's just see what 200 divided by user word dot length. Okay, so that's going to be the size of the rectangle. So we can set the property, well, it's all going to be image I, set its we want height to be H, set its width to be H, set its width to be H, set its X location. Okay, we want them all in a column, so that let's just make it all of them. We will hard code to be like halfway over, which is 160, but its Y location is going to be based on what letter is in the alphabet. So it's going to be H times its index, H times I. I wonder if this is going to work. No. We also need to unhide it. Image plus I, set its hidden alphabet height, no, hidden to false. Why is it not giving me a good? Hey, there we go. All right, so 160 H. Let's divide smaller. Let's see what 150 gets us. Nope. What did I use in the other one? Oh, well, it'd be our total height, which is 400 something. There we go. Okay. And what happens if we make it a super long word? It's not going to let me. Good. That's too long. What about this one? There we go. Okay. So we just need the same thing for text area. Actually, all these X and Y things can be on the same block, but we don't have that block here. Okay, we need the set all the text areas 1 through text underscore an area plus I, set its text to the user word or the user word letter, user word index I, and we need to do all of the height, width, and depth stuff. Set its height. And they're going to be the same dimension. Set its height to H. Set its width to H. We need them to be a little bit left of where the other one is. So if we have the other one starting at 160, we can have the other one 160 minus H. So let's set its X to 160 minus H. And set its Y to H times whatever position it is. So H times I. And let's see what happens. Oh, we need to unhide it also. And let's set font size. We need to come up with a good way to scale font size. And it will definitely be based on H. Font size. So if it's 100, what happened? There's no way it's H. How about H divided by 2? Getting closer. Let's center everything. And I could go back to design mode and put it there, but I don't want to. We just set them all to center. And let's see what happens. Not too bad. And we go back and make a bigger word. Why did that happen? Text area, height, width. Oh, width is going to be also H. That's might be the reason. There we go. And this shouldn't work. Good. We go back. This should work. Okay. Does 10 make it too big? Well, we can use the full screen. Maybe that'll help. Let's make it 415. Maybe we have to limit it to 9-letter words. Why is it like that? Is it because it's too narrow? Oh, it's 450. That's part of the reason. Choose the full screen. And for some reason, D is too big of a letter. I think we can use just smaller fonts. So what I say, H font size is H divided by 2, about divided by 2.5. Probably do multiply by something. There we go. 10 letters works. And we go back to 8-letter words. Scales, how about 4 letters? Don't like that. Let's see if we can go back to the 400 and not have it overlap. Oh, you know what I'm gonna do is max out the size because it doesn't need to be that big. Okay, so if H is greater than 140, then H is just going to get 140. That tops out H at 140. And let's see here. So we go like that. And that will protect us from 2 letters. There we go. And we should go like this. Okay. And so the last part is when the animated is done, it should go to the still screen. So that's where at the end of the time loop, the last step, stop time loop. And yeah, I think I can just call it there. Call our set still pics. There we go. All right. And that's it. Obviously, that's well beyond where I expect you folks to be, and that's fine. You're not supposed to be there, but if you are interested in that sort of stuff, there's a lot of very useful concepts. The two-dimensional loop, or I should say nested loop, is a common situation. The basic idea, the main nested loop is in in both of them. We are going through the entire, for each letter in the user word, that's the outer nest of the loop. We need to compare each letter of the user word to every letter in the ASL list. And if it ends up matching, then set all the properties. Okay, and yeah, that's it.